I cannot believe how beautiful the weather has been lately. It has been nice and sunny, which on one hand, I'm a little sad because I've been working inside for the bulk of these sunshiny, nice days. And when I had the opportunity to go outside, it was kind of rainy, dreary, super, super muddy. I talked about last week how we were laying the straw down to seed our yard, and we have a few baby sprouts coming up. I just went outside, I took a little bit of a break, and I just opened up a book and I was reading, and I was laying on the hammock. I was just kind of rocking back and forth, closing my eyes, just trying to be quiet, because sometimes I feel like I'm on my phone way too much on these relaxing Saturdays, Sundays. And yesterday, Garrett and I, we had a super busy day. We woke up early, we went to Lowe's, we picked up some plants to put in our garden, and then we had to help my dad and clean the house, and then we went to the ball game. We watched the Kansas City Royals play, and that was super, super amazing, and it was nice and sunny out. I kind of felt like an idiot. I had brought I say an idiot. I didn't really, it was just because I was so sweaty. I brought some really, really good sunscreen, and it's for kids. So it's thick. It's that thick white stuff that your mom would smear on you before going to the pool. It's very heavy duty, but I haven't had all that much time in the sun. And so my skin really does not tan super, super well. And also I don't want it to burn, and I want to protect my skin, protect the integrity of it. So yesterday we spent, it was the hottest part of the day, and we're sitting in the stands watching the baseball game, which was so, so fun. And we hung out with friends and family, and we didn't get home until 11. So waking up this Sunday, it was just exhausted. I woke up at 6, I let the dogs out, and then I went back to bed and didn't get out of bed until 8, which is sleeping in a long time for me and Garrett. But we were able, I got the dogs outside, we were running around and having a good time. And then I did some errands I needed to do. But then I felt like I wanted to go back outside. And today it has been some sunny, some sprinkles. And so I was laying on the hammock, and I was just trying to relax and center myself and have some alone time away from, Garrett or friends, because we spent the bulk of the day yesterday hanging out with friends, and then going to work and everything. So I was just you know what, I'm gonna sit here. I was reading my book and I was really enjoying the outside, and then it started to sprinkle just a little bit, and I was oh my gosh. And it was such a light sprinkle, and where our hammock is, it's underneath some trees. And I've been going there quite a lot just to hang out, because it's relaxing and peaceful, and I can take my computer out there. Yesterday I took my computer out on the hammock while I was waiting for Garrett to get home, and I was just watching High School Musical on my iPad and had my computer out, which I know it's kind of conflicting ideas, because I go outside to get away from technology and work, but sometimes it's nice to work outside, best of both worlds. And so I was on the hammock, and luckily this time I only brought a book, but I could hear the rain start to come down, but in the trees, it was mostly catching all the little baby sprinkles. These were not heavy drops. These were slight little dropping, it was a mist basically. And then it started to get heavier and build a little bit. And I was I saw this one video, and it was why do people get so upset when it rains and they don't want to get wet, but then we spend hours in the shower, taking long showers and just sitting there. It's you know what, I kind of want to just sit in the rain. As weird as that sounds, but I was why not? When I was a kid, it was no big deal to play in the rain, and I'm trying to get back to more simplified concepts and ideas, and just really allowing myself to have that creativity and not I guess I'm trying to step out of my comfort zone and do more things that are making me happy, as an adult and as someone who can literally do anything. We're all able to do whatever we want anytime, and we limit ourselves by oh, I'm too tired, I'm too like stuck in where I am. Like we are allowed to break and do different habits and like just whatever we want. Like, isn't that so freeing to think if I want to learn a new language, I can literally learn a new language. If I want to go and hang out in the rain, like I can hang out in the rain and I can just like be carefree. I guess that's the word that I'm looking for. Like being as carefree as possible and just doing what makes you happy and going out and having fun. And so I had my books, so I just opened the door, put my books in. I took Rooster and Rowdy and I like put them inside because I did not want them to get super muddy. And I was like, you know what? And I just kind of like soaked in the rain and I watched the rain and I was like, man, this is so cool. Like it was a rain. Obviously it was a little cold, like it wasn't super, super warm, but to just like stand in the rain and I had to change clothes. I was actually I was in like a cute little dress, but I was like, I was out in the rain. And when I talked about like some of my favorite things, like the pleasing things, one of my favorite things was like after working in the rain, coming home and either taking a hot shower and getting into warm clothes or just getting into warm clothes. I was like, I can literally recreate that right now. Like, why not jump on the opportunity to hang out in the rain and then like come inside and like get all cozy, you know? And it was exactly the break and creativity that I needed, you know, because I was like, I need to record my podcast and sometimes I just get distracted or I'm not really feeling motivated. Like I set up my camera, I set up everything, and then I like just kind of laid on the couch here. It's kind of bad that this couch is so comfy in comparison to like a chair. I just kind of laid here and I was like, you know, like I don't feel like it. And this morning I did not feel like working out. I still went and worked out, but I felt like I should have done a little bit more on my workout. But I was like sitting here, I was like, nobody is going to like tell me that I need to sit and record my podcast, right? And I was like, well, I guess I'll take a break, even though I've kind of taken a break all morning. And I was like, ugh, you know, sometimes like the procrastination is worse than actually just sitting down and doing something. And I was like, ugh, and I went outside. And so that little bit of fun, I guess, was exactly what I needed. And if you ever feel that way, like if you are procrastinating so hard, maybe it's like a homework assignment or something that you are dreading to do, setting down your phone is really, really good, because when we're filling up the time with our phone, like we like get way too distracted and we focus on something else. And I've noticed that when I am bored, like being bored is so good because then you can think of ideas. Instead of entertaining ourselves all the freaking time with like just noise, being able to shut that off and like just be quiet or bored for a second, and then we're able to think of different ideas and really expand our brain. And I don't know, I think that's really, really cool. And so I've been enjoying the weather, 20 out of 20, and I'm glad for the rain that we've gotten because overall it's been pretty sunny, but we need just a little bit of rain to make sure that we can have our grass seed grow. And while I was like sitting in the hammock, I saw some sprouts that were on the outside that have started to like poke through. They look so good. And we avoided seeding like our garden area, and we're going to be putting plants in there. We picked up some tomatoes, some watermelon, and some pickling cucumbers. We do have a couple starts I have that we started from seeds. I got really good radishes starts, so we're going to transfer those into the garden. And then I got some really good green bean sprouts and some really good lettuce cuttings from the grocery store that I put and I grew if you watched my TikTok, and some carrot tops. So we're going to be transferring all of that, and so it's going to soften the soil just a little bit, and then that's going to help us in the fall or when we start processing it, because our tomatoes are going to be Roma tomatoes so that we can make our own spaghetti sauce, and lettuce, because we buy it from the store all the time, but we can just cut it and make it ourselves, right? Like we can grow our own food, and that's going to help us save money in the long run. Which brings me to today's episode is how to budget like a boss, because last year, a lot of us relied on vices to kind of get us through, whether that was online shopping. I know lots of us did some online shopping, or if we like drank a little bit more. Alcohol sales were through the roof last year because people were sitting at home, they were bored, they wouldn't have a good time. I know there was a Facebook group, it was like see a chug, send a chug, and it was like a beer chugging deal during quarantine, and also like buying lottery tickets. And people have just leaned into different spending habits. Lots of people, they were staying at home, and so they wanted to renovate and just spend so much money, you know. And also, like, there's this little TikTok sound, it's like, I think it's from like The Simpsons, I think it's Marge, and she's like, I don't really need it, but I want it. I think I'll buy it. It'll be good for the economy. And so many of us, I think we've had that mindset. And of course we want to support small businesses, and we want to go out and shop. Of course, like, I'm not saying to deprive yourself of these wonderful things that you like and enjoy, but I also think that we can break it down and we can budget a little bit better so that we can set ourselves up for the future. Housing prices are through the roof right now, and maybe your bills for rent has gone up because, I mean, the housing market has gone up, so the people think that they can charge more for rent. And it's just, it's going to become like a lot of people have thought that maybe we might be going into some sort of inflation of the dollar, and it's going to be very hard to just like spend and buy things. So if you set yourself up with good habits now to budget, then you'll be able to have a better future. Sometimes it's hard to think about like, oh, in the future we'll have to do this, we'll have to do that, and to just put it in your mindset of like, okay, like we can get this taken care of and we can do this. That's the most important. So I use a couple budgeting tips. I know I've done an episode like this in the past. I personally have always been a huge saver. I like saving money and waiting until that rainy day, or saving up for like a really big item. Like when I was a kid, I would, or like treats, like I would save like candy or popsicles or whatever. I'd save it until I really, really wanted it. And I'd also like save my money. I remember thinking of the concept of a bank, and like I tried to convince my sister. I was like, okay, like we'll have a bank, we'll both put our money in there, and then like whenever we want to take it out, like we'll be able to like borrow each other's money, but obviously we would pay it back. And she did not understand this concept. Okay, she did not. And this was even before I knew what a bank was, but it's so crazy to like pull that memory, because I was like, yeah, I put my money in, and she was not into it. Okay, she was like, no, I don't want to put my money in there because I don't want you to have it. And I was like, Caitlin, I have more money than you. I don't know if she remembers this, but I was like, I am putting in my $7 and you're only putting in your $3, and I'm allowing you to like take my, you know, $7 if she needed it, right? We were super, super young when I thought about this, so like very, very, very young. And so saving money has always become, it's always been easy for me, but I also, last summer, I had a wedding. And so Garrett and I, we paid for our wedding. We had some help from our parents, which was awesome. We were so, so thankful for the money that they put in, and then we were putting our own money in as well. And so we were depleting our savings, right? And also we are, you know, we moved out, we're living in our own home, we're doing all these things, and so our savings have kind of been depleted, which is okay. You are meant to spend your money, and you can save your money for a long period of time, and then you can cash out and you can buy that big thing that you wanted, whether it's a boat or a home or a new car, or maybe you want to invest in jewelry and you want to buy yourself a necklace or a real gold ring instead of buying it from the department store and having green fingers. Like, if you want to spend your money, of course, but these are some ways that maybe you can start implementing, and then you'll be able to save your future. I like the concept. I like planning. I'm a planner, And so I have a spreadsheet on my computer of all the things that I've broken down, how much money that I have coming in, and then I use percentages. I think that's a really good way because if your income fluctuates for any reason, whether that is you have more hours one week than the next, or if you're only working part-time, or maybe it's commission based, I think percentages are a better way than having like a set amount, because if you budget every single month, you're like $200 for groceries. Like one month you might not make enough to pay for like your house and your student bills and maybe your insurance, and then like the $200, it doesn't go anywhere. And of course we're going to have some of the things that are constant, so like maybe your insurance is never going to go up, it's never going to go down, it's going to stay consistent for at least, you know, that 6 months that the premium is, or your rent is always going to be the same every single month. And so those expenses are really nice to just deduct first, which brings me to like my very first tip is to pay your expenses first. I know it can be easy when it hits payday and you get paid on a Friday and you're like, oh my gosh, I've been wanting to buy these sweatpants I saw on Instagram. They're so cute. I'm going to hurry up and I'm going to buy them before they sell out completely. And then the next week when your rent is due, you might not have enough and you're like, oh shoot, now I need to put this on my credit card. And then you're in that mindset of living paycheck to paycheck because you're like, oh, I had to wait all this time to be able to afford this like one luxury item that I wanted. And then you might forget that, oh shoot, I also have my insurance coming out, or you like break your toe and have to go to the emergency room and then you have to pay. Like, pay your expenses first. I know it's not fun, I know it's hard and it's annoying, but then you're able to have like a real visualization of how much money you actually have. And taxes are going to be taken out of your paycheck if you're getting a paycheck. If you are owning your own business, make sure you're putting enough money aside so that you can pay taxes at the end of the year. But I've always been a work first, then play. For anything that I have to do, I always want to make sure that my house is clean. Like that's something for me, like when my house is clean, then I can sit down and watch a movie. So if you don't have this mindset, it's okay. It takes practice to first go and like do work first, to pay your bills first. It's not fun. Nobody likes paying bills, and we would all want to splurge on those really nice things that make us happy. But if you pay your bills first, you're not going to have that stress. And then a pro tip would be to move all of your bills to like the same day that you get paid or the day after. So instead of just forgetting when things are due, you can set them all for the same date. So I like to do this so that I'm not paying all over, especially like if we take my podcast, for example. I have to pay for the streaming platforms that my podcast is pushed to. So I have to pay that. And then I also have to pay for my editing for like my YouTube videos. And I also have to pay like if any of those little small expenses I need to like put in a spreadsheet, they're going to come out on the same day. And so then I don't have to worry about, oh shoot, my Buzzsprout, it renewed on this day, and then my Lightroom renewed on this day, and then it's all being pulled from my paycheck, and then I forget that they're coming out, and then I overdraw my account, or I overspend, or I don't account for those things. So I've moved mine all to the same day, and then whenever I get paid, I like to take care of those first. I also think having more than one account is very good. So if you have a checking account and then a savings account, that's great. I actually have 2 checking accounts. I have 1 business account, and then I have my savings account. So my savings is going to be just like for those super big purchases. Maybe I'm saving up for something, or maybe it's just like a emergency fund. You can choose whatever you want for your savings. But your savings, like I don't touch my savings. I put it away, and then I really think about it when I want to like take money out of that. Like for our wedding, that was a great way to use my savings to like spend it on something that I really, really want. And so I have my savings. I have 2 checking accounts. One is for my like day-to-day, it's a very low balance, and then the other one is like groceries and other expenses. So I have my spending account, and then I have like my everything else account, and then of course I have my business account. So that is all of my Golden Hour Drip Co. as a company, and so I'm not mixing things. I also have a credit card. So I use my credit card to build up my credit. I got a credit card last year right before our wedding, actually, like while we were planning for this. I think I applied for it in like July, so I'm coming up on a year. No, actually I think it's August I had it. I use a Discover card. I like Discover. It has an easy app format, super simple. I like using it, but another trick is never to spend more on your credit card than you can pay off within that month. I pay off my credit card balance every single month. This helps me boost my credit because I didn't have any credit. And that's not good, that's not bad, it's just I didn't have any credit. So because we didn't do any student loans, we paid for all of my student loans either through a scholarship or in cash. So I didn't have any credit through that way, so I started using a credit card to build up that credit. And I use my Discover card. That's where I have my subscriptions to be paid, and then I also use it for like fuel, but I'm never going to like spend or splurge all the time on my Discover card. I'm only using that to for items that I would be already using. I think what people get confused with credit cards and why they're so like quote unquote scary is because people overspend. They think, like I don't have to pay for this until next month, so I'll probably make enough money to cover it. Or I only have to pay the $30 minimum, or I only have to, you know, if I miss it, it's fine, like what are they gonna do? Okay, and so I think that's the bad thing about credit cards, because people don't understand that they're gonna have to buy it back. I just watched, oh my gosh, I just watched the new Dragon movie. What the heck is it called? It's like The Last Dragon, Raya, I think. It just, Disney Plus just like released it to the public where you don't have to pay for it, and I just watched it. And the dragon, she was asleep for so many years, and then she like woke up, and you'll have to watch it. It's a very, very cute movie. Kind of annoying, and I felt like some of my like anxiety, anger, like, oh my gosh, why would they do that? That's so terrible. You know, if you watch it, you'll understand what I'm saying. But like, how could they be like that? That's horrible. They literally shot the dragon. Anyways, no spoilers, but she was going shopping and she wanted to bring the chief a present, but she didn't have any money. And the guy's like, oh, just use credit. And she just like started piling things on her, in her hands. And she's like, I'll pay it on credit. Oh, I like this. I'll pay it on credit. I'll pay it on credit. And then all the townspeople rallied around her and they're like, what are you doing? We'll pay for that. And she's like, oh no, like I'm putting it on credit. And they're like, we don't know you. Like, you can't put it on credit. You're never going to pay us back. And so, or there's another one, it's Schitt's Creek, if you've ever seen that episode where David, he's like, I think it was actually write-off, and he's like, it's a tax write-off. Like, you have to pay for the things, like you can't just take it. And so I just thought that was super, super funny, but credit, you know, you're gonna have to pay it back. So make sure if you do get a credit card and you're trying to build your credit, cash back is great. Like if you can, mine is a 5% cash back, and so it'll be on certain purchases for the month, and then I just kind of like pick and choose what I want to spend it on. So a credit card can be good and it can also be bad, but you just have to make sure that you're not living within or living outside of your means, which is another great tip. You want to only be spending what you make. It can be easy to scroll on Instagram and to see other people, and with how our entire algorithm is created, it's really easy to see the things that we want to buy, right? Like there's so many ads, and you can purchase anything that you want. And with Amazon Prime, like it's very, very easy to just go and see the next new thing, and you're like, I want that, I need that too. Very instantaneous. But when you are trying to impress someone else, like, you can easily go into debt, and that's not going to be good in the long run. I always think it's better to look cheap, quote unquote, or not to have all the nice things that other people have and then have more in your savings account. Because when push comes to oh my gosh, I could not say that. When push comes to shove, you'll be able to like purchase some things that are important to you. But if you just like buy the next trend or do the next thing, then you can easily fall into debt, and like that's not fun. And so you never know where someone else is getting their money, and so it could be easy to look at them and be like, ah, they have the new tennis shoes, or they have such nice clothing, or they have a Gucci belt, and they have all these nice expensive things, but you can't afford them. There's no sense in putting it on your credit card and thinking, oh, I'll pay this, and then 3 months later you're still trying to pay on that debt, and now your credit has gone down. Like, it's better to live within your means. And when you are thinking of like your long-term goals, you might have to be quote unquote broke now, but then in the future it's definitely going to pay off. So instead of like going out to eat every day for lunch with your coworkers, like bring your own lunch. That can be, you know, a little, I wouldn't say embarrassing, but of course, like, you want to socialize with people and friends, and it can be humbling, I guess is the word, to be like, you know what, like, I really can't do that. Or I wish I could go and spend all this money, but I need to focus on making my house payment. I need to focus on getting out of my student loans. I need to focus on these things that are going to set me up for a bigger, brighter future. Because in reality, like, your problems are your problems. And so nobody, you know, your friend who asks you out to go get Starbucks every single day, she could have her Starbucks being paid by her parent or her husband or her boyfriend or her great-grandmother who like gives her an allowance every week, but you're paying for it yourself. Like, there's no shame in saying, hey, like, no thanks, like, or I brought my own. You know, buying in bulk is really, really good, and then you can like meal prep and it just pick those things that you actually want to focus on spending your money on, instead of just thinking, like, I want to fit in. I talked about this on my Instagram a couple days ago, and I was like, you know what, when we are afraid to stand up for ourselves, or when you feel like you're in a situation where you're not heard, or you don't want to confront someone because you don't want them to feel embarrassed, why, like, your feelings and your actions and what motivates you is just as important as what motivates and like gets someone else out of bed. And so if you think, no, like, I'm saving my money right now, I'm saving up for a car, or I'm waiting to splurge on Fridays, you know, because nobody says that you cannot treat yourself. Like, you can absolutely treat yourself, but to keep up with the Joneses, it's just going to be something that is going to bring you down. It's not ever going to be good. And with the trends always changing, there's going to be like that next big thing just around the corner. So don't get caught up in just buying the next latest and greatest, biggest, amazing thing possible. Things that I like to do to prevent me from just like splurging and looking for that next big trend is I will go online shopping and I'll put every single thing that I want in the cart. And I will just put it in the cart, because honestly, when you go shopping and you see all the great new things, sometimes it's just the thrill of like shopping or the experience of shopping. And I put it all in my cart, and then I will just close the browser, because I have that feeling that I did go shopping and I got to pick all the outfits, put them in my cart, but then I just exit out. I don't have to put my card information in. Basically, I window shopped and I had the fun experience, but I didn't purchase anything, and I don't have to purchase anything. So that has been a way that I have, you know, kind of curbed my online shopping, because it's so easy now. Like PayPal or any of your other money apps, it's so easy to buy something online. And if I truly think about it, like the next day, and I'm like, man, that one dress that I put in my cart was super, super cute. I will go back and I might buy that one dress, or I might buy that one thing that I can't stop thinking about that was so good and so amazing. But it's also just delaying that gratification, because when we just add to cart, purchase, and it comes in 2 days, like, it's that instant gratification, and then we might just set it down and move on to something else. Have you ever bought anything on Amazon that you're like, like I need this, or I saw it on Facebook ads and like I absolutely have to have it. I need to have a candle clipper that clips off the top of my candle wax or candle wick, or I absolutely need the new chip clip, or I need the new glass straws that go so eloquently in my green drink. Oh, and I need matcha powder. I haven't had matcha powder. And then, I saw it Instagram where she had this new book, and then you think about it and you purchase it all and you're like, oh, I never use my candle cutter because I just light the next one. Or, oh, my glass straw broke and the book that I wanted so badly I didn't even pick up and read. That instant gratification and just like wanting. If you're always wanting, then you're never going to be fulfilled. But if you just think to yourself, like, I literally have everything that I need. Yes, there's always going to be that bigger, better thing, but I can live with what I have. I don't have to have everything that's amazing and the next biggest thing. So that's another way that I just help my spending. And then if I do decide that I actually need something, let's take a water bottle for instance. I have not had a water bottle for a really long time. My last one, I broke it. I went and I picked up a super cheap one, and then I immediately broke the lid, and that was great. It was $1. But I've just been using it without the lid. And I have been using it for the past 3 weeks, okay? 3 weeks. And I'm like, you know what? I could absolutely buy a new water bottle, but I don't want to just jump out and buy the next big thing. I see a lot of ads for the Hydro Jug. And I did my research and I was like, man, like so many girls, they have the Hydro Jug. They go to the gym and it's so nice and it's like cheetah print. It's so cute. And then I saw one in person. One of the gals I work with, she has a Hydro Jug, and I picked it up and I was like, man, this is kind of heavy. And then I thought, man, like I don't really like big water jugs because the water gets warm or it's stale like by the time I drink it. Also, I hate it when it doesn't fit into the little cup holder. And I was like, man, if I would have just went out and bought a Hydro Jug because everybody has it, it's so amazing, it's so beautiful, I would have been unhappy with it. But since I sat back, I did my research, I don't want one. Like, that's not something that I think would fit my lifestyle in this moment. So doing research is so important. I think instead, you know, I need to keep looking for something better. I don't think I'd like a Hydro Flask. I remember when I was a kid, my mom would give me, like we all had metal water bottles and we would take it kayaking and camping. And I don't like the way that a metal glass can tastes. Like I don't like that. And so trying to figure out what's going to work best for me by doing my research. I still do not have a water bottle, but I'm still figuring out the best and perfect thing for me and what I'm actually going to like and enjoy, and that's going to last me for a long time. Another thing is quality over quantity. Shopping is so fun. Like you go out and you want to buy everything, right? And you touch the fabrics and you're like, this is so cute. How many black t-shirts do you actually need? How many pairs of jeans do you actually need? The staples, you don't actually need a whole bunch of staples. What you need is a few really high quality items that are going to last you a long time. Like American Eagle jeans, they don't last a long time for me. I am always shredding the middle of the thighs. I'm ripping them, and they also wear out super easy for me. Those aren't super good jeans for my body type. Instead, I'm going to invest in higher quality Levi. I'm going to thrift, and I'm going to take care of those jeans because they last a long time for me. They're a little bit thicker material. And it's always quality over quantity. So like gold jewelry, I have lots of these cheap little necklaces that I picked up because, oh, they're so cute, they're so fashionable, I love stacking them. but then they start wearing down and then they get kind of green. I have a couple of those Kendra Scott necklaces, and I think while they're super, super cute and I love the metal stone, they get super grubby really fast. And so instead of buying like another Kendra Scott, I'm going to invest in a little higher quality jewelry, and I'm going to be able to have that for a long extended time instead of just like, oh, like crap, it's turned my neck green, or it's tarnishing, or it's falling apart. You know, because then in the long run, you're going to have to make multiple purchases of something that isn't high quality and that isn't going to last a whole long time. And then you're spending more money. Okay? And we don't want to spend more money. We're trying to save. We're trying to budget. Which brings me into my more concrete budgeting plan. So first thing I do is I like to give every single dollar a purpose. Okay? So when I get my paycheck, or when I get paid, whether it's for photography or my clothing store or sponsorships, like whenever I get paid, I'm breaking that money down into percentages. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pay all of my concrete expenses that might not fluctuate. So my phone bill, my insurance, my home, all of those things. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pay them. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break it down. I do 10% tithings. So I take 10% and I donate it to an organization or someone who needs it, whatever. That's money that is going towards helping somewhere else. Then I take 10% and I put that into my savings. This is savings that I'm not touching. This is, you know, long-term, big, fat goals that I need to save for. And then I take 5% and I put this into my checking account. That's a spending checking account. It's like a savings, but it's a spending savings. So this would be like for Christmas gifts, you know, around Christmas time, everyone's stressed because we have to buy so many gifts for other people. And you're like, I don't really have enough money, but like the people in my life, they deserve something great. And so I just start saving for that all year round. And then when it comes to Christmas time, I'm like, oh, I can pull this out. Oh, I can buy this for someone. Or, you know, any of those bigger gifts or bigger things, like a trip, if you want to go on vacation, if you want to plan for like an end of the summer vacation, you're able to like dip into that, but it's not your savings that you need to rely on for like, your emergency savings or buying a house savings or investing savings. Like you don't touch those. That's not something that you pull out of. And then you have your checking. I have my checking account. That's where I have like my regular spending things day to day. But my checking account that I spend out of is still broken down. So I only want to spend a certain amount on groceries. Right? And this way, when you have a budget, you're able to like pick and choose what you go into it, and you're also going to be able to focus more on like fitting within your budget. Because if you don't have a budget, if you don't have a plan, then you just spend as much as you want. But if you have a plan, you at least have some parameters and you have an idea of what you can spend. I like to just like go couponing. I'm a very small couponer, but I like getting the most bang for my buck, and I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of money on like the necessities, because in reality, like toilet paper, that's not how much joy is toilet paper bringing you. You wipe your butt, but honestly, like I would rather spend my money on something that I'm truly happy about and want to splurge a little bit, like a really good hair clip that I'm going to use every single day and it's going to bring me joy, or some really nice earrings that I can wear in my, you know, ears and then maybe pass down. I'm not going to pass down toilet paper, like that's stupid. So I want to save as much money as I can on toilet paper, on toothpaste, on I do splurge on my shampoo. I love Ouai shampoo. I've talked about it before. It's like my top-notch favorite thing in the world. It makes my hair smell so good. It makes it lay down so good. and honestly like 20 out of 20. So I will spend a little bit more for my Ouai shampoo and conditioner, but your necessities like your dishwashing soap, all those, like find the best deal and then just roll with it. So when you break it down in percentages, then that money has a purpose. Even if you budget, I budget for Starbucks. I love Starbucks. I like treating myself. I try not to spend too much money there though, right? Like I want to not go broke by buying Starbucks, which you absolutely can. But I will budget for it. So I will budget $25 for the month. You might think that sounds like a lot of money. You might sound like that's not very much money. But my drink, my little pink drink that I get, which is it's my fave. It's a venti passion fruit tea. It's a passion tango tea, I believe. That's what they call it actually. Unsweetened with no water, 2 pumps of sugar-free vanilla, 2 stevia, light heavy cream, $3.54, okay? And it's venti. I love it. So good. It makes me think that I'm treating myself, and I am treating myself, but I'm budgeting for it. So when you, even for your little expenses that make you happy, saving does not have to be, oh my gosh, I can't buy anything I like anymore. I have to just like save and focus on like spending it on boring things. When you give each dollar a purpose, then you're able to like save for something bigger. And when you're just like using your paycheck up, when you think, oh, like I paid my bills, and maybe you're not saving for retirement or saving for buying a house, and you're just spending whatever's left, like you can cut out a lot of unnecessary spending by just refocusing your brain. The first month that I ever tried to allocate my funds, I was a freshman in college. It was the first time that I was ever making money. I was kind of out on my own. Of course I did live with my dad, so I didn't have rent, but I started dividing things up, and to set myself up, I started saving my receipts all for that month. Every single thing that I spent in that month, I just kept the receipt. I would tally them up, and then I would see how much I spent in that month. And ever so often I do this, if I ever fall off, like my habit of spending and saving and whatever, like around my wedding, we didn't really have we had a budget, but we were also like finding odd jobs and like spending that money as well. And so we kind of took a slight break from actually saving because we were breaking into our savings, like we were spending it, we needed to spend it. So we kind of took a break, right? And then to like reset myself, I was like, okay, like I need to collect everything that I've been spending for the past month. Also looking at your statements. You want to look at your statements and you want to see, hey, like what am I spending money on? And what can I cut out? A lot of us have subscriptions that we forgot we even signed up for, or we thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to use this every single day. It's going to be really amazing. It's going to be really awesome. And then we don't use it. Okay. So look at your subscriptions. Look at I know it can be so scary to look at your bank account, to like look at things that you're spending money on. And I know that there was a couple months I was scared to look at my bank account. I was like, I can't look at it until I get paid. I can't look at it. I can't do it, because it's hard to fix anything if you don't have an idea of what you need to fix. So be realistic with yourself, and you're never going to be able to get out of this like predicament if you don't first see where you're at. Bob Goff, he says it best. He's like, to know where you're going, you got to know where you are. Be honest with yourself, okay? It can be the toughest thing ever to just be honest with yourself and your financial situation, but as soon as you can get over that, then you can start thinking about the future and what you want to be doing next. So I saved up my receipts, and then I put it into categories, and then I broke those categories down into percentages. I was like, you know what? I see that I'm spending a lot on, let's take online shopping. how can I cut down my online shopping? Well, I am going to wear the clothes that I have. I'm not going to buy anything new this month. And then whatever I don't wear in my closet, I'm going to sell. So that is an easy mindset shift that you're able to then instead focus on, oh, I need more. It's like, how can I utilize what I have and then like be able to like sell what I already have in my closet and makes money, and then I can go buy those new pairs of shoes that are so cute. So definitely just like utilizing what you have, and also thinking, you know what, like I don't need the next biggest thing, because there's always going to be new things and companies are always wanting you to like buy new stuff. I mean, we live in a very consumer world, and with Amazon Prime and just the quick, easy access, like you can purchase anything with a click of a finger. So those are like a few things that I do to just like kind of set myself up. And I also think revisiting your finances every so often is also really, really good, because then you can think, okay, where am I at? And how can I get there? So goal setting is so important when you are budgeting for your future or saving, and when you can think, okay, I want to have $10,000 in my savings. Break it down. How much would you have to save every single paycheck to get to $10,000? Like if you think about it that way, and when you break it down, oh, it's only going to take me 16 weeks. Well, shoot, I thought 10,000 in my bank account in my savings. I thought that was totally out of reach. I thought 10,000 was so much money. But then heck, I only need to save 3% of my check for the next 16 weeks, 18 weeks, 20 weeks, half a year, whatever it's going to take, and then I'll have $10,000 in my savings. And if I shift a few things around, then I'm able to put that in my savings. It's easier than you think to save money, because, and honestly, it's a whole mind shift, you know, like a mind shift is what I meant. But if you think, oh gosh, like maybe you're only making minimum wage, maybe you're making $10 an hour, maybe you're making less, and you think, oh, there's no way to live on this, or I have so many expenses. And this is not to be like calloused or mean, but if you can readjust how you're living right now, if you can think, oh, like if I just move back in with my parents, that might be a hit to your ego. It might be hard. You might feel like you're being smothered, but I lived with my dad the entire time I was at college. 4 years I lived with my dad. Actually, like a year after I graduated college, because we were building our house. But you know what? Making that sacrifice, I was able to do things that other people aren't able to do. Or budgeting a smaller wedding. Like, it might be a hit to your ego, but an ego is literally like, it's holding you back. And so when we could just be honest with ourselves and honest with like our overall goals, then it's so easy. So make sure that you are putting a number, a percentage. Make sure you're putting out goals so you know where you're at, where you want to go, and setting your mind frame up for saving money. Because I've always thought, ever since I was a kid, like summertime is the best time to like save money, because I didn't have school, right? And so when I was working part-time, I was like, summer, let's see how much money I can make in one summer. Let's see how much money I can save in one summer. With the exception of last year, because I felt like we were just spending money left and right last year. But you know, just putting it in the mind frame, okay, let's see what I can do, or I'm gonna give myself 1 month to do this. And just breaking down the goals and seeing what you want is so important. So Garrett and I, we are saving for our honeymoon. Last year we did not get to take a honeymoon. We took like a mini moon. We went to Kansas City. It was nice. It was fun. You know, it was a good time. But it wasn't how we actually wanted to spend our honeymoon. One, it was part of, you know, there wasn't a lot of travel going on last year. And so we did not want to like try to travel to somewhere like mediocre. And so this year we're saving for our honeymoon, and we are putting aside money to like splurge a little bit. And since we have this goal, then, you know, when Garrett and I were like, oh man, like neither one of us want to cook, we want to just pick up Chinese, we can think, hey, like we're not going to go buy Chinese because we're saving to go on our honeymoon. We're saving to go on a big trip for our 1-year anniversary. And we're not going to just mindlessly spend on takeout. When we went grocery shopping, we budgeted for food. We have food in our pantry. All we have to do is work, you know? It's hard. It's freaking hard to get up and cook yourself a meal sometimes. Like when you think, oh, I could just, you know, pick up Arby's, or I could pick up pizza or Chinese or whatever. It's easy to get in that mindset, you know, I don't want to, it's too hard, but reality, it's not that hard. You're being a baby, and just save some money, and when you have a plan, it can be so much better. There's a couple like little trends that you can do. Like one of those saving trends is like $5. Like every single $5 you get, put it into a jar and save all of your 5s. And then, so if you like pay cash, like you get $5 back, but that doesn't work unless you pay a lot of cash. The next one is to, every single time you get paid, you put 10% in your savings. So there are definitely ways to like save money, and it can help if you have like a community, or if you have like a partner that you're gonna try to save money with. Maybe it's your roommate, significant other, your sister, your mom, whoever, you know, make it a goal and just save money. If it's your friend, you're gonna save money for a big trip, or you're gonna save money to finally go out and buy your own house, or move out of the apartment with your roommates and move into a place that all is yours by yourself without anybody else, and you're so alone and you're just living your best life with no roommates and your dog. Isn't that nice? So budgeting, it can be hard. I hope that in this episode you found any of those fun, cool budgeting ideas that you need help with. There's tons of resources out there. You can check on Pinterest. There's lots of spreadsheets that are easy to just like adapt and use yourself in your own little like budget way, or your own income. There's calculators online. There's so many resources. So just sit down, pick one, and roll with it. I love spreadsheets. I like putting things in spreadsheets. Other people use like a budget journal where they write down what they want to spend. Some people use envelopes and they just like cash their paycheck, and then they put like the money for their rent, and then the money for car, like their gas or their car insurance, and they use an envelope system with savings or whatever. I've used like a jar. I put like cash in a savings jar. So there's so many different ways that you can save money, and just being a little creative and figuring out what is going to work with you is going to be the best. But cut out that unnecessary spending. Don't feel like you have to catch up with the Joneses or buy that expensive thing. Live within your means, and I think that's so good when you actually live within your means, because you know yourself that you're not broke. But if you have that mindset that you're like, I'm broke, I spent all my money, then you're not going to go out and spend money. That's why I have 2 checking accounts. That's why I have multiple accounts, because I can only take money out of my spending checking account. The savings account, that I forget that that's even there. And if you can set up where your instant deposit and a percentage is going into one account and another percentage is going into a different account, you don't even have to worry about it. You just forget that money is there, and then when you actually need it, it's going to kick in, it's going to be great, it's going to be amazing, and you don't have to worry about it at all. So budgeting, it can be scary, it can be a not fun topic. People are sometimes scared to talk about money. They are scared to like just spend money, save money. They might have the mindset where they feel like they can never stop living paycheck to paycheck, or they can never like go on those fancy expensive vacations because they never did that as a kid. Like, you're able to change your situation, and like I was talking about with like dancing in the rain, we are in charge of our own lifestyle and our own destiny and the things that make us happy. We're able to choose right now, today, to say, you know what, I'm going to make a change in my lifestyle. I'm gonna do something different that I've never done before, and then keep that promise to yourself. Because when we start stacking up our goals and we start doing the day-to-day, daily routines, it's gonna pay off. You're gonna be in those habits, and then when you think about your past self who couldn't budget, who just spent money so blatantly and so crazily, like, then you're able to think, I don't even know who that person was anymore. So cut out the unnecessary spending. If you get your nails done every 2 weeks, stop getting your nails done. Do your nails yourself. If you buy new jeans every 2 weeks, like, invest in one pair of jeans and go thrift shopping. Change your spending habits, and then it will be way easier to spend money, and you're not even gonna worry about it. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and listening to my budget tips. I think budgeting is important for any person, and no matter how old you are or how young you are, it is never too late to start saving or to start planning for your financial future. With everything going on and the housing market being crazy and rent going up, and you can feel like you're stuck. But as soon as you just sit down, be honest with yourself, set those goals, and figure out a plan, then you're able to just implement it. Fear and being scared always comes from not having a plan, because we overthink and we're like, how can we do this? What are we gonna do? But when you think, hey, I sat down, I found this thing, it's super quick on Pinterest, on Instagram, on a website, I have a plan, I know what I'm doing, I just need to start doing it, then we're not gonna feel so scared when we log into our banking app on our phone, or log into our credit card, or find those, things that kind of make our heart go, I don't know what I'm doing, because you know what? I used to not know what I was doing. I used to be a little afraid or not know where my money was coming from. But you know what? When you give every single dollar a purpose, it becomes so much easier. So again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Our next episode for our submissions is going to be a question and advice episode. So be sure to send any questions that you need advice on at goldenhourdrip@gmail.com. Send those in, and then for the month of July, we'll be doing a submissions episode. So until next time, bye!